Hello and welcome to Yesterday's Airlines. In this video, I'm going to take a closer look at the history of the Pan Am Boeing 747 N747PA. In some ways, this aircraft is incredibly ordinary as a Pan Am 747, and in some ways, it is iconic. Either way, it led a really interesting career, and that's what we'll look at in this video. Before we do that, don't forget to like the video if you enjoy my content and subscribe to the channel, always appreciated. And of course, check out my sponsor, Northeast Diecast, who have an amazing range of 400 scale models for you to check out and get 15% off if you use the code Yesterday's Airlines 15. So that's 15% off with the code Yesterday's Airlines 15. But let's get in and check out N747PA. So Pan Am and the Boeing 747, they are two entities that so go together. But it is somewhat ironic that although Pan Am is so famous for its 747s, it is the aircraft type that almost killed the entire airline. They overexpanded massively with 747s at a time when the economy was tumbling in the early 1970s. But back in the 60s, they didn't see it that way. Aviation was booming, and Pan Am put in a bumper order for the new jumbo. N747PA was actually the second aircraft off the production line, and she was completed on February 28, 1969 and rolled out at Everett's Painfield on March the 5th of the same year. Originally, I think she was supposed to be N732PA, but she quickly gained the registration N747PA, obviously fabulous for PR. And the aircraft was used not only in an extensive test phase for the jumbo before it entered service, but also on a promotional tour across the United States and the rest of the world, showcasing the 747. And she was the first jumbo that was painted in the Pan Am livery. And you'll note in these early images of the aircraft that Pan Am titles are really tiny, and the globe on the tail is also smaller than it would be later on. Before the aircraft entered service with Pan Am, the titles were slightly enlarged so that they filled the space between the first two doors, and the globe on the tail was also increased in size. But prior to that, this aircraft was christened Jet Clipper America by the First Lady Pat Nixon on January 14, 1970. Now, I think she was probably the only Pan Am 747 that gained the Jet Clipper moniker. Earlier in the 60s, when Pan Am had just been introducing jets, everything became a Jet Clipper, but as their fleet transitioned to all jets, they just became Clippers later on, and certainly quite soon after, she was just known as Clipper America. Now, she actually didn't join Pan Am's fleet until October, making her one of the last of the Boeing 747-121s, 21 being the customer number of Pan Am itself, to join the Pan Am fleet. And that meant that she missed out on all of the firsts. The first service by a 747, and that was pretty tumultuous because the engine troubles that early 747s had made that a challenge. And so in that way, she's not that special as a member of the fleet. But of course, carrying the N747PA registration and having been the first aircraft to roll out in the Pan Am scheme, plus being christened by the First Lady, all made the aircraft quite unique. So N747PA had had an unusual entry into service, and her early career was also quite unusual because unfortunately, the aircraft was involved in a very serious incident on July 30th, 1971, when she was operating as Pan Am Flight 845 from San Francisco. The aircraft had been due to take off on runway 28 left, but it was discovered only after pushback that that runway was not available, and instead they were changed to a shorter runway. Unfortunately, a series of misunderstandings led to a disastrous takeoff run, which saw the aircraft leaving the runway both late and slow. And on its initial climb, it hit some light stanchions, which penetrated the cabin, injuring two passengers, one of whom had his foot nearly amputated. The right main upper body landing gear was pushed up into the fuselage, and the left gear was ripped loose and just hanging. And it led to a wipeout of a selection of the hydraulic systems. And the aircraft was very lucky to make it back to San Francisco and be able to land. Unfortunately, when it did land, not all of the slides worked correctly, and because the lack of undercarriage on one side, the aircraft tilted backwards, and there are some reasonably well-known photographs of the aircraft sitting with the nose in the air. It led the incident to 29 injuries, 8 of which required hospitalisation. Ultimately, nothing to do with the aircraft itself and down to pilot error, but obviously a significant amount of damage caused to the aircraft, and I think that it is a testament both to the structural strength of the 747 itself, and also, no doubt, the age of the frame was a factor, that the aircraft was fully repaired and brought back in to service. Following her repair, she was back operating with Pan Am on the usual Trans-Pacific and transatlantic services, and she remained there for a couple of years until November 1973, when she was leased to Air Zaire of Zaire, what is nowadays the Democratic Republic of Congo, as N747QC. Here she was named Mount Floyo, and she served with them until March 1975. Indeed, she was the only 747 that Air Zaire ever flew. By the time she had re-entered service with Pan Am, the airline had modified its livery. Although the cheat line remained, the rest of the scheme had been altered significantly. The Pan Am logo itself now had new text, which was much more bunched together. The main titles were significantly larger, and the tail flag was now slanted. So this 1976 scheme, which came first with the 747 SPs, was the scheme that the aircraft wore from her return from Lease. It was still called Clipper America at this time, but that changed in 1980 when she became Clipper Sealark, and then soon after, in June 1981, she was renamed Clipper Wanty Trip after the founder of the airline, who had died in April. It's somewhat fitting that it was N747PA that gained the name Wanty Trip. And you can see here in these pictures that she had also been repainted into a slightly modified version of the livery with a thicker blue cheat line covering the windows as well. This pair of photographs was taken in 1984 and 1985. By that time, Pan Am had actually introduced the all-new Billboard livery, shedding the cheat line and replacing it with massive blue Pan Am titles. The airline was also not doing very well. It had recovered in the late 1970s, but deregulation and the apocalyptic takeover of national airlines had put the carrier firmly back into the red, and it would never successfully recover. It's a little unclear when N747PA was painted up into the Billboard livery, but in 1988 the aircraft was modified to receive a rear side cargo door and a reinforced floor as part of the United States Department of Defense's airlift requirements under the Civil Reserve. And so it's likely that that was perhaps the time that she was repainted. Certainly in the model you can see here, the side cargo door is fairly evident and not enormously standard amongst the 747s in the Pan Am fleet. Pan Am's global reach diminished as the 1980s went on. It sold off its Pacific routes to United in 1985 and gradually decreased its size to the extent that it was only operating transatlantic services and some Florida routes. Indeed, by the end, it had even got rid of the majority of its transatlantic services as well. This 747 remained in service right up till the end, and that end came on December 4th, 1991, at which point the General Electric Credit Corporation took ownership of N747PA, which didn't depart John F. Kennedy International until May 12, 1992, and in fact was probably the last 747 to wear Pan Am colours. She went on to a lease to a rather obscure Argentinian airline called Aeroposta in July 1992, but was returned by April 1993 when she served another short lease, this time to Cabo Air of Nigeria. And upon her return, once again, another short lease with Aeroposta. Finally, her service career ended in 1993. Used as a source of spare parts, the aircraft never flew again, and it was largely broken up in 1999, but a good chunk of the airframe, including the fuselage and apparently the undercarriage as well, went to South Korea. Here it was converted into the Jumbo 747 restaurant and painted up in a slightly odd Air Force One style livery, though it still kept the registration N747PA and the Clipper Wanty Trip name. Looks like it was quite a nice restaurant in its day, but unfortunately in 2005 that restaurant failed and the aircraft stayed abandoned for several years. And you can see in these pictures the poor paint effort on the aircraft. You can also see that the wings here are not original, and neither are the engines or the vertical stabilizer. There was a campaign to try and save the airframe, but to be honest, there wasn't a huge amount of the original aircraft left aside from the fuselage, and that campaign was not successful. In December 2010, the remains of the aircraft were finally scrapped. That brought to an end the career of N747PA. The aircraft had been the second 747 off the production line and had survived as one of the longest serving Pan Am 747s, and for a surprising number of years after her Pan Am service, in the latter stages admittedly non-flying as that restaurant. But nonetheless, that's quite an impressive career, and one filled with incident and interest. She really is a testament to Pan Am, the airline, and Wanty Trip, the man, and is proving a fine addition to my collection. As you can see here, of these brand new HX model 747s, this aircraft N747PA bookmarks my Pan Am fleet. Jet Clipper America at the far left, and then pushing through the years of the Pan Am fleet from the 1970s into the early 1990s, and N747PA Clipper Wanty Trip at the far right in the Billboard scheme. Thank you very much for watching this short history of the career of N747PA, one of no doubt the most famous 747s ever made. That's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back soon with more content covering the history of aviation and everything 400 scale. But for now, it's goodbye from Yesterday's Airlines. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much.